My name is Elias. In this video of the best modding guide for Skyrim, we're going to get familiar with nexusmods.com, the largest and most robust mod hosting website for Bethesda games. We'll talk about how a mod page is laid out and how to find all the mods you need. So, if the number one question you have is what's the best mod for blank, do not skip this video. As always, if this is the first video you're watching in this series, check out the link in the top right corner and start from the beginning. This will allow you to keep up with the guide and not miss any important information. Cool? Cool. For those of you still here, let's get into it. The first thing I want to let you know is that this video will only cover nexusmods.com from the perspective of a mod user and not a mod author. We won't talk about uploading and maintaining your own mods in this video. If that is something you do want to see though, let me know down below. The other thing we won't be covering today is the media and community sections of the site, as those are not integral to downloading or using mods. To start off, let's talk about what mod hosting actually is. When we talk about mod hosting, we are referring to the uploading of files to a server from which they can be sent out to users that download them. By far the biggest and safest site for hosting BGS mods is nexusmods.com. Other sites can host mods for Skyrim as well, but they generally aren't as reputable and I don't recommend using them. Most everything that you could ever need to enhance Skyrim's visuals and gameplay can be found on Nexus, aside from a few extraneous cases. That's why learning to use and navigate it is important. All that being said, you are of course a free individual who can make your own decisions, so you can get mods from wherever it is you please. Just don't come to me if you get malware on your machine. As is the case with everything on the internet, if it looks sketchy, it probably is sketchy. Great. Now that that's out of the way, let's head into the main page of nexusmods.com. Alright, so before we do anything here, if you don't already have one, you'll want to make a Nexus account. Don't worry, this process is 100% free, and unlike before, you won't have to navigate a maze of donation links. Until you have an account, you won't be able to download mods from the site. Just go ahead and hit the register button in the top right, and walk through the 3-step process. Once you're done with that, you may also want to disable content blocking for your account by clicking on your account image, site preferences, and content blocking. Even if you don't use adult content like myself, many body mods have no nudity variants, and some content that contains nothing related to nudity may have not safe for work images uploaded for it, causing it to be flagged. This is of course ultimately up to you though. When you finish with all that, go ahead and come back to the main page and we'll continue. Done? Awesome. The first thing you've probably already noticed is that Nexus hosts mods for many different games. To this date, the biggest of these are Bethesda Game Studios titles. It's just something about their gameplay formula, engine accessibility, and mainstream popularity that makes them the perfect fit for modding. Which is why, after nearly 20 years, no game has even come close to having the amount of files created for it as a single BGS title. I mean, check this out. Morrowind, the third game in the Elder Scrolls series, has 6,600 files on Nexus. The next runner-up, at least at the time of making this video, is Stardew Valley with 4,600. That's only a little over 2/3 the total of Morrowind's, and other BGS games only get bigger from there. To this date, no other game studio has managed to replicate the modding success of BGS. So rest assured, when you're modding Skyrim, you're creating the most customizable and self-tailored experience out there. Pretty cool, right? So why do I bring this up? Aside from the fact that there is something truly amazing about thousands of indie developers and users coming together to enhance the experience of a single game purely for the benefit of themselves and others, rather than the benefit of corporate backers, there are a lot of mods for Skyrim out there. This means that learning to find what you need and skipping what you don't is an important skill to practice going forward. Not every mod here will work flawlessly together, and many more you won't even like. Now, as many of you already know, Skyrim has had 2 major releases since its, well, release. The original Skyrim with all its DLCs, which we call Legendary Edition, aka Oldrim, LE, SLE, etc., and Skyrim Special Edition, aka Newrim, SE, SSE, or anything else anyone may call them. Aside from minor graphical enhancements in Special Edition, the two basically look and play the same in vanilla. This often leads people to believe that mods created for Skyrim Legendary Edition will work with Special Edition out of the box, and vice versa. This is often not the case, as Special Edition actually uses the upgraded creation engine from Fallout 4, meaning mods from Legendary Edition must first be ported, a process best left to mod authors or until you have a little more experience. That's why for the purposes of these guides, we'll only be looking at mods from the Skyrim Special Edition Nexus page. This won't be a big deal for most of you, as just about all the best mods from Legendary Edition have already been ported to Special Edition anyway. The main misconception that I want to once again point out here is that Special Edition is much better suited for modding than Legendary Edition, and that at this point there should really be no reason for you to use mods from the other game. You can get Skyrim Special Edition to look and play better than Legendary Edition using just the mods that are on its Nexus page. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't want to hear about crashing because of this. Sorry about the lecture, but there are still so many people that don't understand this, and it makes me want to pull my hair out sometimes. So, if we select Skyrim Special Edition, we'll be taken to its Nexus page. Every game hosted on Nexus has its own portal, and they will all be laid out exactly like this one, only with their own mods. If you are ever confused about which portal you're in, like say you found a mod on Google, you need only look in the URL of the page, and it should say Skyrim Special Edition. If it just says Skyrim, you're on Legendary Edition. Go to the Special Edition page. You may also notice that the accent color is a little different between the two, just barely. The first thing that you will see on this page are the hot mods. These are newly uploaded files that have garnered significant attention from the modding community in the last 7 days. Scrolling down a little further, you'll be able to find all the mods that have been released today. Other tabs here will also allow you to look at new releases this week and popular mods. There are also a few more filters here, like more trending, random, and updated. Updated in particular is a handy one to pay attention to. The main page search filters are rather rudimentary at best, so it's good that there are more, but we'll go over these in just a minute. For now, let's look at an individual mod. At a glance, a mod's thumbnail will give you an image, the mod's category on Nexus, its original upload date, the last time it was updated, its author and uploader, which are sometimes different people. In the bottom left corner, you'll also see the size of a mod's main file, the total endorsements, and downloads. This information in particular will quickly give you an overview of which mods to pay attention to when perusing. Especially pay attention to the last update date, as it will give you an indication of how active the author is and whether or not he's keeping the mod up to date. Especially if it's an SKSC plugin, you'll want to know that it's up to date with the latest game version. Of course, endorsements, which are Nexus's version of a like button, and downloads aren't the be-all and end-all, as new great mods pop up every day. There's something to consider, especially when looking at older files. If we click on a mod's thumbnail, we'll be taken straight to its Nexus page. I'm going to use Fusro Do as an example, but you can click on just about any one. Here, you'll once again see the title of the file and Nexus category it's a part of, as well as endorsements and total downloads. You'll also see the amount of unique downloads and total views a mod has. The most recent posted version will also be shown. To the right of this information, you will see some more buttons. One to add media, like videos or images related to a mod, a tracking button, I'll show you what that does in a little bit, an endorsement button, once again this is basically a Nexus like button, and finally a button to vote for the mod as Mod of the Month. The final two buttons on this row allow you to quickly download the mod's main file. You should never download from these links directly unless you are certain you will get the file you need. This is because many mods have multiple files to choose from on the main download page. Below these buttons, you will see a gallery that may show the mod in action. Lower still are the timestamps and author information from before, as well as a virus scan. Honestly, Nexus does a really good job of moderating their content, so usually this will be green. Once in a while, it will tell you that some files weren't able to be scanned, but again, because of Nexus's awesome moderation, I've never seen any malicious content. General rule of internet browsing though, if you don't trust it, don't download it. Simple as that. Going a little lower, you'll see the tags for this mod, as flagged by the author, and various pages a mod may or may not have. Many of these tabs are optional and left to the mod author's discretion. What you will always see though is a description page, and it will be open by default. At the top of the description, you'll see the short thumbnail text explanation from before, buttons to share or report the mod, and a few drop-down menus for requirements, permission information, and possibly a changelog. Most of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory, but I do want to clarify that the requirements drop-down includes both a mods required by this file section and a mods that require this file section. I don't know why, but people seem to overlook this all the time. To be fair, it is counterintuitive, and Nexus should give mods requiring the file their own dropdown. Below the dropdowns is the actual description created by the mod author or uploader, meaning the content you will find here is entirely up to them once again. More often than not, it's packed with valuable information you should know before using the mod. So before downloading anything, always read the mod's description. It will help you to avoid crashes and other common mistakes. From here, the next page that I'd like to go to, if it's present, is posts. Here, Nexus users can write anything related to the mod. Usually this place serves as a good frequently asked questions or FAQ section for the mod. This is because people that are confused will write stuff here, and those that are less confused will generally answer, obviously saving you and the mod author trouble. You ready? Good life skill coming at you. Many applications, including your browser, come with a text search filter that can be activated with Ctrl+F on your keyboard. If you know what you're looking for, that will save you a lot of time here. Never forget it. My rule of thumb with posts is that you should always read at least the first page to see if there are any glaring problems with the mod. People on the internet love to complain, so if there are any glaring bugs or issues with the mod, you'll more than likely see them here first. Also too, pay attention to the sticky posts. These are outlined in red and have a sticky red box in them. They are pinned by the mod author and typically contain valuable information not found in the description. From posts, you should go straight to the bug page. Again, some mod authors don't have this for various reasons, but the concerned ones usually do. If you don't see any glaring issues in the post page, you'll typically find one or two here. If you see the same issue reported in both places, it's a pretty big red flag. If it's in one of them, you may want to investigate further. As is the case with the internet, there are always people that don't know what they're talking about. You'll always find a few of them here. Same with the post page, for that matter. When browsing mods, it's always best to have a healthy amount of skepticism. Is the mod author credible? Does he know what he's doing? Has he been around a while? Or is this his first mod filled with numerous crashes and bugs? 9 times out of 10, the former will be true, but there's always that one, right? Between the description, posts, bugs, endorsements, downloads, and lifespan, you should be able to make a pretty clear assumption of whether a mod is actually stable and worth using or not. If you stick around long enough, you may even start to recognize authors by name, helping you to separate the good from bad even easier. That was a bit of a tangent. Let's talk about the bugs page some more. Here, any user can report bugs. First, you write a brief title, then a description. Your report will be timestamped, your downloaded mod version will be documented. By default, a new issue status will be given to it. The mod author can then look at it, evaluate the problem, and change the status to not a bug, known issue, or won't fix. Optionally, a priority can also be set by them. These reports are then put into a list that can be filtered for your browsing pleasure. Again, I like to read through at least the first page of these, if possible, before downloading a mod. I suggest you do so too. Alright, so now that you've been a good little mod user and done your due diligence, research, and snooping, you can finally go to the files page and install the mod. Not literally, we're not going over mod installations in this video. I mean, we haven't even gone over a clean game installation, what did you expect? But later, after we talk about what a mod manager is. Just keep this process in your head for now. Remember, DPUBD. Description, posts, bugs, downloads. What you need to know about the files page is that it can be divided into a few different categories. These categories can then be filtered in the top right, should you so choose. The typical ones you'll see are main files, optional files, old files, and updates. These are pretty self-explanatory. Old files are archived versions of the mod, optional files are additions to the main files, and updates go over the top or overwrite main files. At least, this is usually the case. Again, mod authors can kind of do what they want here. Name new versions counting down or alphanumerically? Sure, they can do it. More often than not though, these will make sense, but if they don't, you should probably do some more reading. Speaking of versions, each file will have a version tag in the top right, as well as some extra information, so make a habit of looking at it when choosing which file or files to get. You may also see some additional text information for each one that gives you some information as to what it does. Before we talk about the actual downloading buttons, there is one more thing I want to show you, and that's the preview file contents button. This is a really handy link that lets you actually open up the mod's download and see what's inside of it without actually downloading anything. This is something that you should definitely use later, so keep it in your head. Alright, now the download buttons. Why are there two of them? The manual download will use your browser to transfer the files over the web and into its default download directory on your drive. The Mod Manager download, on the other hand, allows another application on your machine to handle the transfer instead, and place the file in its preferred location. This latter method is the quickest and best for downloading most mods, and you'll end up using it frequently. If you don't know what a mod manager is or why this feature is awesome, we'll probably talk about it more in the next video, so don't worry. Aside from all these pages, you may also see some others. These generally aren't as important as the ones we've just discussed, but you're more than welcome to peruse them as you please. More knowledge never hurt anyone. Images and videos allow mod authors and users to share content related to the mod. Logs and statistics can give you more history about the mod itself. Lastly, articles and docs can also be included and may contain additional information to that found in the description and sticky posts. These last two are probably the next most important places to look if you need more information. Now that we know what a mods page consists of, let's head over to Nexus's top menu and check it out. Remember how I said that the filtering options on the main page were pretty rudimentary? Well, this is where it gets interesting. First off though, if you hit the Skyrim Special Edition button, you can quickly get to the game's main page, and if you're modding multiple games, the drop-down will allow you to select some favorites, so you can quickly switch portals. Now then, in the mods submenu, new, trending, and most endorsed will allow you to access filtered lists of mods that are pretty self-explanatory by their name. It should be noted too that for each of these, further adjustments can be made for better filtering, such as how far back you want to look or what you want to sort the list by. Ascending and descending orders are also options here. Top files will allow you to see the most popular mods for the game in a certain time span. This is a great resource if you don't know the big mods out there. What I don't like about this page though is that it has a tendency of masking new mods that may improve upon old concepts, meaning that longtime heavy hitters have a much bigger presence here than up-and-comers. What I much prefer to the top files is the mod categories. This page contains lists of all mods sorted by their specific Nexus categories. While I do think that the categories for Skyrim Special Edition could be more descriptive or specific, they do a decent job of grouping similar mods together. This allows you to see mods that can possibly change similar things. Again, each of these categories can be filtered further. The recent activities page is a chronological notification log for new and updated files. It can be really helpful to see which files get changes. This is a good thing as I generally believe that file updates aren't given enough attention on the site. Tracked mods expand on this concept even further, allowing you to follow specific files on the site. This is what the tracking button on a mods page does, by the way. If keeping up with a particular mod's release is important for you, toss them in here. Additionally, you can also track mod authors themselves, and just like every other list on Nexus, these can also be filtered. The final thing I will be going over in the Nexus menu is the search box. You can search for a few different things here, but the default and the one you'll be using most is mod titles. Using the user option to find mod authors can also be useful at times. When searching for mods, this box behaves a little awkwardly, but when you get the hang of it, you'll find yourself using it a lot. Let's search for something. I'm going to use the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch as an example. Without hitting enter, you'll see a drop-down list that appears with the most popular hits in descending order. As you can see, Arthmar's actual mod appears first, followed by numerous translations. This is the sort of behavior we would expect, as most people are looking for the main mod file itself. Each of these results will also show the Nexus page it's on. Since we're on the Skyrim Special Edition portal, every result here will be for our game. The author, total downloads, and endorsements are also shown here. Clicking on any of these results will obviously take you to their respective pages. On the other hand, if we type something in and do hit enter, we will be taken to a separate filtered list of mods that is different from the suggestions dropdown we just saw. That's because this one is filtered by the date published rather than something like endorsements or downloads. Why this is the case, I am not sure. This is not the sort of behavior I expect when I search for something, and I guarantee that's not what other people expect too. Maybe this would be a good thing, drawing people's attention to newer mods, if separate translations were filtered out, but as of making this video, this is not the case. Fortunately, this issue can be alleviated by going back to your site's preferences and in search preferences, selecting your preferred sorting option. Unfortunately, you will still have to set ascending or descending order manually each time if you don't like the default for the selected sorting option. Before I wrap up, let's talk about the dreaded subject of premium. Do you need to pay for an upgraded Nexus Mods account? No, absolutely not. I've been using Nexus Mods for years without it. That being said, I also don't have a high-speed internet connection, so I couldn't really make use of it anyway. As a non-paying user, your mod downloading bandwidth will be limited to 2 megabytes per second, considering you don't use an ad blocker. If you are, the speed is halved to 1 megabyte. That means if you are on an internet connection that's faster than 20 megabits per second, you should definitely consider it for faster downloads, especially if you're going to be using a bunch of mods. Aside from the uncapped download speeds, you also get ads removed on the site and can bypass the tedious "consider supporting us" screens when downloading files, among other benefits. And I know paying for stuff sucks, I'm a cheapskate too, but even I was impressed by how fair their pricing is. That, and considering how much good work they do for hosting files in our community, it's something you should consider. Honestly, the only 2 payment options I would go for are the $3 monthly plan to use while installing giant mod lists, or the $50 lifetime membership. If you're in any sort of first world country, these prices are more than fair. I know what I'm getting when I get a better internet connection, that's for sure. In this video, we talked about Nexus Mods and why it's the best place to get all the Skyrim mods you need. We also talked about sorting and finding mods on the site, as well as a mods page and how it's laid out. Don't forget to like and share the video if you learned something so we can get this valuable information out there. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and check out the next video in this series to the right, where we'll cleanly install our game to make sure all our files are where they need to be. Watch the introduction to this series on the left so you know what's going on. Don't forget to stop by our Discord to hang out. As always, I'm Elias, and I'll see you in the next video.